He's been tried and convicted of child sex crimes.
Now this former church deacon, who was also a youth sports coach, begins his sentence, even as the victim's family tries to cope with deceit, lies, and abuse dating back nearly 20 years.
And WLWT News 5's Karen Johnson uncovered this new information. So Karen, this story does not end with his conviction, right?
Cherie, it does not. Even though Chad Wilhoff was recently sentenced to 15 years in prison, he now faces 10 more charges in 2 additional cases. And tonight, only on WLWT, never before seen documents and audio recordings, taking you inside the investigation to show you how this case unfolded.
I wanted to marry you. I wanted to be with you. I was deeply in love with you. It was never something dirty or something disgusting.
But most people are disgusted by what Chad Wilhoff did. That's Wilhoff on the phone with his victim, nearly 2 decades after he sexually abused her. The girl was 12 years old. Wilhoff was 23. The victim had the courage as an adult to go to police. At their request, she recorded this call.
It should have never happened. I was the adult. It should never happen.
The state later used the call as evidence against Wilhoff in his trial.
I'm going to pay for my sins.
And he is. Let's go back to 2003. Wilhoff was married to a relative of the victim, and he worked at the church her family attended, Landmark Baptist Church in Batavia.
He worked in the nursery. He worked in the children's, with the children, the teens, the teen group. He became a deacon. He was a deacon of benevolence.
Although Wilhoff was respected by many in the congregation, church member Stephanie Trammell saw red flags.
They were in the lodge, however, I was near the fireplace.
During Wilhoff's trial, Trammell described a church group ski trip from 2003-2004. Wilhoff was an assistant teen director of the church. Just as she described to the court, Trammell told me she witnessed something inappropriate between Wilhoff and a young girl.
I could see that they had their arms, wrapped around each other, and they were holding hands, and then underneath the table they had their legs wrapped around each other. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Trammell says she called the church and left a voicemail. At trial, she told the jury that head pastor Brandon Little then showed up at her house.
He had no expression. He didn't say anything. He had brought his Bible with him, and he proceeded to open up the Bible. He started reciting scriptures out of Matthew 18.
Verses about bringing accusations to the church first and obeying your elders.
So if I would have known the term gaslighting at the time, I would have thought, I'm being gaslighted.
Trammell eventually left the church.
I regret to this day that I did not go to the police. I'll always regret that I didn't try to do something else.
The victim's family remained in the church for several years, unaware of the abuse. Then in 2020, the victim filed a police report, writing details like, when I was 12 years old, he kissed me for the first time. He would play a game with me where he would pass an ice cube back and forth to me with his mouth. The first time we had sex was age 14.
She knew the damage it was going to cause. She knew the lives that were going to be just ripped apart, but it needed to be done. And I think it took a lot of courage.
I was furious and dumbfounded that we were duped all those years.
Her parents' anger grew as they learned about other warnings. Wilhoff was also the victim's track and basketball coach at the Bethel Tate School District. Teachers and coaches made their own observations. One even kept notes that he saved.
And I outlined here what I thought the suspicious inappropriate activities were.
These notes were explained in a police interview 13 years after he wrote them and later introduced at trial.
Snuggling under a blanket. Is this like on a bus? Is this where?
It would have been, he did do that on a bus. He would do that, in track season, it's cold some days. Kids always brought their blankets. He would snuggle in the bleachers with her.
I felt like I did my job and reported to the best of my ability.
According to a Claremont County Sheriff's Office report obtained by WLWT, Bethel Tate parents and other coaches also witnessed unprofessional behavior. One said he saw Wilhoff blowing kisses to female athletes and contacted the athletic director at Bethel schools.
At the time, they came forward to administration and made their concerns very clear.
We were never contacted by the school of any of this.
The administrators at Bethel Tate, when those reports were allegedly made, have since left the district, and none have been charged with any crime. But the man who led Landmark Baptist when the first warning was raised, Pastor Little, has not left. In fact, the family of the victim tells me they went to Little when the investigation began in 2020. They found out when the victim recorded that call with Wilhoff. And after that, Wilhoff said Pastor Little alerted him that he may need an attorney and provided him with a name.
Pastor Little called me. He also gave me good information and said, don't talk to the police without an attorney.
In a conversation with a Claremont County Sheriff's investigator, Brandon Little, who has not been charged with any crime, denied tipping off Wilhoff.
No, that's not true.
In the same call, Little denied being told about Wilhoff's inappropriate behavior 18 years ago, even though testimony at trial said otherwise.
We were just really blindsided by any kind of accusation or idea that this could be going on.
I tried to talk to Pastor Little.
Hi, Brandon.
He looked out his window and closed the blinds. As for Wilhoff, he was recently found guilty of 10 charges related to child sex crimes.
I'm nowhere near the person I was then, and I ask for your mercy.
He is the same man. He hasn't changed.
And Wilhoff has appealed his conviction. The victim's family tells me they're sharing their story, hoping for change. Change in the way trusted leaders handle situations like this. They said had the church or school taken those actions all those years ago, it could have changed the course of their daughter's life.
Karen, 2 other cases against Wilhoff. Where do they stand?
Well, it's still going through the court system. Wilhoff was indicted on an additional 10 counts. One accuser says Wilhoff sexually abused her in 2007-2008 when he was her soccer coach. A trial date on that was set just today for November. The other charges date back to 1994-1996. A man says he was 8 years old. He was a neighbor of Wilhoff's, he says, when he says Wilhoff's, who was then a teenager, raped him. No trial date has been set in that case.
All right, Karen Johnson with the investigation tonight. Thanks so much, Karen.
Yeah, thanks for staying on top of that.